How's it going? My name is Colin Winters. I'm the host of Panthers Place, and today we will be talking about Bryce Young being benched for Andy Dalton only 2 weeks into the season. So, yes, you heard that correct. The Carolina Panthers are deciding to bench their first overall quarterback 2 weeks into the NFL season, and frankly, you could have seen it coming because of the fact that Bryce Young has been playing absolute doo-doo garbage ball, but I also don't really see the point in benching him already. Now, this video comes a little bit late because I was coming back from Charlotte. I went to the Week 2 game against the Chargers, in which I saw in person how bad of a game and how bad of football we were playing. And it, of course, wasn't pretty. Bryce Young had a really hard time. But I was able to watch the Dave Canales press conference on the way home because my wife was driving. And I was a little bit concerned with how much he decided to dodge questions pertaining to how he feels about Bryce Young as a quarterback. He was very we made a football decision, best decision to go forward. Andy Dalton's the quarterback, but anything that was about Bryce Young, he deflected or just said any conversation with Bryce Young will be private. Which I understand, not going details of the personal conversation, but when you're being asked how do you feel about this guy, and you continually say that we're not going to go into details. Andy Dalton gives us the best chance to win. You kind of get the idea that the front office has they've already given up on the guy. I truly don't believe this really is all on Young, and we will see now with the game against the Raiders if it is a Young issue, because let's say he goes out and Andy Dalton balls out against the Raiders, or at least looks, way more competent. I'm not saying he has to put up huge numbers, but, we see more deep shots down the field, we see better offensive play. We'll understand that Dave Canales feels like he's being hemmed in what he can do with the offense because of Bryce's limitations. But then again, if Andy struggles just as Bryce did, then we see it may be a coaching issue there, and that Bryce does have a little bit more leeway to be coddled a little bit more like we did with him last year. The biggest thing with Bryce Young now is that he's playing super scared. Like, it feels like his rookie year absolutely destroyed any shred of confidence he had in himself left. We are not seeing even a shred of what he was able to do at Alabama that we are hoping that translated to the NFL. And the only reason I'm against sitting Bryce Young now is because I feel like we missed our opportunity to do that. I feel if we were going to sit him, we should have sat him like midway through the regular season last year when we knew that nothing was going to work out, and we needed to save his confidence for that. But it's already shattered now, and maybe depending on the type of person Bryce is, being able to sit behind Andy Dalton, maybe he has a chance to be able to calm down, slow his breathing a little bit, slow down his heart rate, and just kind of see the fact that he can do this. He has time. He has the ability because he's not getting pressured. He has time to throw now, and receivers are now getting open, but he is not making the throws. A vet presence under center like Andy may give the Panthers a better chance to win. I'm just not sure. Do we really want that chance right now and ruin what could be developing Bryce Young, or are we just going to have to deal with the fact that the front office may already be done with him and we are going to be moving on sooner rather than later? Personally, I think moving on right now would be a very stupid idea. I feel like you should give Young this year and then next year because of the fact that, one, the 2025 QB class doesn't move me in any way, shape, or form. There is not one player there for quarterbacks, that is, that I would take, first overall or even really top 10. So I'm just not moved by any of the quarterbacks available. If you were to actually, if we suck bad enough to get the first overall pick again, which is very well possible, or maybe you just keep going with Young, see if he can, calm down a little bit after sitting behind Dalton, because Canales did say that he is not going to take it, and he did not commit to Dalton full time. He said, we're going to take it week by week. He kept talking about how they're just focused on the Raiders or focused on this week. So he was not fully committing to the idea of starting Dalton the rest of the season. So we could see Young play again. Young is the QB2 now. He's not even relegated to the bench fully. He is QB2. There's no quarterback other on the roster. They do not have plans to add a quarterback, according to Dave Canales. So there is a chance that we do see Young start again. Maybe Young just needs this time to cool off, relax, see that the offense can work if he makes the plays needed, and he has the athleticism to do it. We just need to know if he's really just a broken player. And if he is broken, you don't have anyone else to blame but the Panthers organization. They put him in a terrible position as a rookie, had a coach who didn't really want the guy. The coach didn't do anything to really show any interest in scheming around his ability. Then he had a GM, an owner who just didn't feel like putting talent around him because he was a point guard. He didn't need elite weapons to make an offense work. Well, it's a fucking team game. You need elite weapons. It's just, God damn, is it frustrating. I feel bad for Young because the Panthers organization has failed him, and no matter what way you put it. You can also say that Young just hasn't put enough together to make them feel like they can roll with the guy even through this really rough patch. So both sides have reasons that they can be blamed for, but I'm putting a lot more of the blame onto the Panthers organization versus Young's camp. I mean, we're seeing it with all the other quarterbacks the Panthers have tried and failed with. They're going out and they're balling out right now. We have the fact that Baker is, doing well in the league. Sam Darnold's doing well with the Minnesota Vikings. Hell, if they decided to start PJ Walker over in Cleveland, I bet he'd even be balling out right now compared to Deshaun Watson. It's just all former Panthers quarterbacks, once they go to a different team, tend to have great years now, apparently. Watch the Rams take Bryce Young from us next year because Stafford decides to retire and then suddenly he's just the best quarterback in the league under McVay. I mean, there's just no point in being optimistic as a Panthers fan because everything we've tried at quarterback is awful. The Panthers right now are a quarterback graveyard. Your career goes to die here. You do not get to revive it. And quite possibly, maybe with the QB whisperer that Dave Canales is supposed to be, maybe you get something out of Andy Dalton because Bryce Young just doesn't have it. Or maybe we finally see that Dave just wasn't ready for a head coaching role. But it's still early in the season, so I'm not ready to commit to either one of those ideas. I still want to see how players and coaches do on their individual stories in the league. I want to see how they react to this adversity that they're going to get. They have all come into a very hostile situation with the fan base. The fan base is essentially just done with the franchise. Of course, we're going to be Panthers fans for life, but that doesn't mean we're going to be happy with everything they do. We're done with our owner. We've seen no improvement when it comes to the offense, and other than the offensive line, which, hey, if there's one bright spot, Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan's signings seem to be pretty damn good so far. I'm just sorry for Young, but I do understand, and with more time to think about benching Bryce Young, I can see it being beneficial for the team and Bryce. Bryce gets to sit where he needed to in his rookie year, and the team probably does have a better chance to win with Bryce. I feel like we're going to see a lot of different play calling going on in this next week with the Raiders because of the fact that Canales won't have to be hemmed in by a scared quarterback. Dalton's going to be hyped up, pumped up to start again, and he's going to be able to go out there and he's going to want to sling the rock like he did in the Seattle game. So I feel like we're going to see more deep shots. We're going to see a lot more dynamic play calling when it comes to it. We're going to be able to utilize our backs better because we probably won't be, falling behind the entirety of the game. But we just can't be sure completely. So this week 3 is going to be very telling for the Panthers franchise. If it's a rot that runs down to the core, or if it's just a bad quarterback keeping us back. Either way, I am ready to go ahead and support whoever is our QB1. I will support Bryce as well and whatever happens next. If he gets another chance with the Panthers or if he has to go on somewhere else to try to revive his career, I hope the best for him because we really did let him down at every stage during his rookie year and it seems to have destroyed him mentally now. I do have to give Canales credit for making the decision. Even after he put his support behind Bryce, he looked at the film and he said, we just can't do this anymore. And that's a big boy decision that I hope was his and not Tepper's, but gotta give credit where credit's due. A change was needed, and they're deciding to make the change now rather than later. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.